Greetings fellow repairers. Alright, today's task is to get into here, which is, there's a kind of another swivel down here. I've done the top one, which I'm just going to mention in a second because I think that might even be fouling at this point, which is annoying me, but let's have a go at doing this one. I've actually bought proper parts for this, so let's get on with the repair and I'll show you what I've got. Like all good people that take their car apart, I'm just checking things before I get going, and I've noticed, don't know how good it is to see or whether it's easy to see, but there is movement in this. Not long ago replaced that, so a bit annoyed that I found that, but I suppose it's better to find it, and it's not the end of the world. There's a job to do, so that's a bit annoying. So what I'm going to try and do is we're going to take out the bolt in here, we're going to take out the nut on there, so that's 18, that's 24, around the other end is 21, and then swing out the hub and then just get to the bush at the bottom. Nice and easy. Right, this is our bush thing here, swivel joint, I don't know what you call them. I have to work it out in the title. Having one of those days, middle-aged days. It's very wobbly, so I'm assuming that there's quite a lot of movement in it, but I mean, it doesn't sound particularly bad, but whether it's creaking just from when it's moving, because it could just be dry from, you know, being very old. So I'm going to replace it. There's going to be some kind of locking thing on here which may well have disintegrated, but we're going to try and get that out. First things first, going to probably have to clean this up and assess how we're going to get to it. Just a quick thing, if you are enjoying my videos, please could you like and subscribe, and also it'd be great if you could leave a comment. I'd be really interested in hearing your thoughts on this repair. Thank you. Okay, so what we got? Well, we're definitely going to need our puller set, so you need a sleeve puller to get this out. Unless you're going to take the whole hub off, then I suppose you could use a hydraulic press, attempting to avoid doing anything as complex as that, hence why we've just removed a couple of bolts and nuts. So what have I got to go back in? So that is the locking clip. So I've actually gone for genuine Land Rover stuff this time. So that's the locking pin that should be at the back of the bush. There's a Land Rover bush, and I've also bought a new tie rod nut and washer thing, because that one on my vehicle has just been on and off a lot of times, and they do say you should only really use them 5 times. So just for safety's sake and to make sure everything's good when I put it back together, I'm going to put a new one of those on. So let's have a look at this bad boy. So I've gone for genuine. Now I may well be replacing the top one again at this rate, so I might be getting another genuine. So interesting, compared to the one that's on the vehicle, this is way stiffer. So you see I was just wiggling the other one around. This is much stiffer. So that is actually, to me, is a good sign, because that means that's going to be nice and secure. So you can see, I get this other bit out as well, what we're going to deal with here. Just try not to let the stuff blow away in the wind. So we've got an arrangement where I think that is the rear of the swivel bearing bush thing. Like I said, my brain is not working very well today. So that's what we're going to push in to the hub in this direction, and then somewhere on the old one there is this kind of retaining clip which goes into a nice groove here. So like I said, I've gone for genuine stuff this time, and we'll see what it is. But once I've got the other one out, we'll have a bit of a inspect and see what we think about it and have a look inside. But so I've gone for genuine this time. Probably should have gone for genuine on the top, although Mailer is supposed to be a really good brand, OEM type, but movement in that top joint already, or top swivel, is just a little bit concerning. Just to show you how loose this is, put something into it and wobble it around. There you go. So it's just very a lot of movement in it. I don't think it's necessarily fouled, but it's certainly not at its best, and we'll have a little look at it once we've got it off. Just going to clean up around here. Got a little wide brush and a screwdriver. I think that I've obviously wedged it out with this bit of wood, but it's not ideal. But I can see that the clip is kind of here, so I'm going to have to work out whether that will actually come out or just sort of disintegrate as we have a bit of a tap of it. But I'm not sure. I mean, you can actually start to see it as you scrape it away. So clean this up and then we'll move on from there onto the next bit. Aha! All I needed was a jolly good old dead screwdriver to attack it with. So it will come out. Hallelujah. Oh, barely holding together. Nice. 18 years of corrosion in there. Nice. But it didn't smack, it didn't fall apart like I thought it would. Good old Land Rover. Right, just get a bit more of a clean. Right, we're going to set this up. I've got a 16mm bar here that fits through there. Right, just making sure. I'm going to start it off with one that's just about the right size, just to get it going, just so it starts pushing out. Then you pop your thing on. So it depends on what kit you've got, what size you want. So just play about until you find the correct size. And then on the other side, I've got a bigger one like this so that it can slide through. And again, similar setup. So just got to set this up and then we'll get turning. Right, let's see. 18-year-old bush versus 50-year-old weak man. Probably guess who can win. Probably guess who's more likely to win, but I'll have a go. So I think the biggest challenge here is just to get it going. I'm going to try with a breaker bar. So I think probably that is my biggest challenge, is to get the initial sort of rust to break. Oh, did you hear that? I think it went. Oh, it's still very tight, but I think it actually went. So let's see if I can just do a little bit more on the breaker bar. So next stage is to take this one off, find a thinner sleeve that will fit, and hopefully we'll drive it out. So I'm just going to take this off again. I can see that it has broken the join, so we are correct. We are now moving. It means we're definitely going to get it out, and it wasn't actually too bad to start off. Hallelujah. Okay, so we sleeve down and then we're going to carry on. So we've got a thinner, narrower sleeve. I can feel it going as I'm turning it. I've got my foot on the other bit. Okay, we can see we're getting right in here now, and this is pushing out nicely. Okay, I've just gone down to the smaller sleeve. I'm going to keep going. I think I'm not that far really from having the bush removed. So I'm just using my foot to stabilise the spanner at the other end to stop it spinning round. Here we go. I think we're nearly there. So this will need a bit of a clean just to get probably the grime out of it. Just prepare it. It's actually quite narrow, isn't it? So it's actually not too bad to get that bush out compared to some of them. Okay, so here is our ball joint thing. So technically it hasn't failed, but it's not clean in there, and that's not ingress from me taking it out. And if I scrape a bit of it out, it's looking quite dark. Again, I don't know how easy it is to see, but it's certainly not light grease like on, because I took the seal off to make it easier to get the sleeve on to pull it. I think we're just very old and at the end of our lives, and there's certainly no harm in replacing such a worn thing. So now we're just on the reverse. I've cleaned all this out, and you just got to find, it's the opposite this time, so you've got to find a sleeve that fits over that just perfectly. And this is really nice because it's got this on it to drive it in, which some of these things don't have. I've got that one, and then we've just got to find one at the other end that's bigger so that we can slide it back in. So we're just going to set that up, and then we're going to drive it back in. And the only other thing I'm going to do is put some just LM grease on here just to give it a bit of lubrication. Okay, so I've done that up so it's nice and flush and stiff. So it looks like we've got our gap on the other side as well for installing the clip, which I'm just going to go and find. +1 for Land Rover on this repair. Usually they're a pain in the arse, but in this case it's actually not too bad. Okay, so we're clipped in. Right, just to show you the stiffness of this one compared to the other one, I've got a extension bar here, look. Smooth, but hard to move. I just put a 1/2-inch bar through here, just because of that stiffness of that new joint, and it just aligned the hole better. So that'll mean that I'll be able to get the bolt in without really doing a lot of work. Just got to get my angle. So twist. There you go. So that's done one-handed. So got that in now, and we're kind of at the point where we're just going to tighten everything back up, put this tie bar back on, and then we are literally done with this repair. And it was a lot easier than I thought. Just as I did jack this up a little bit, just so that I could get this back in position, because it was a little bit out of alignment. Then we're just going to torque this to 175 Newton meters, or 129 pound-feet. Clickety click, excellent stuff. And then we're going to torque this one, and that is also 175 Newton meters and 129 pound-feet. So there you go, nice and easy. Click click, nice and secure.